Welcome, everybody, to Live with Lyle on a beautiful Friday afternoon. Katie Dockery, that song is just for you, my dear. I wouldn't have played it for anybody else. Well, maybe. You never know. Neil Craig, James Dockery, Jim Hopper, Scott, Trevor, how you guys doing? Daniel. James, are you getting bad looks? Man, that's too bad. I wouldn't do that on purpose. You know, it just kind of slipped out. I want everybody to think about this weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend. There's going to be a lot of traffic on the road. Be safe out on the lake. But most of all, while you're barbecuing your brats and hot dogs and hamburgers and catching fish, remember the reason for this holiday. If it wasn't for those who didn't make that back from military service overseas, we wouldn't be having this holiday. So please say a prayer for those families and those missing that never returned. With that being said, Cindy and I made it out to the lake yesterday afternoon for the first time in a while. I want to let everybody know that if you are planning on going to the Lake of the Ozarks or Truman Lake, the water is extremely high. Lake of the Ozarks is full of trash, absolutely full of trash. If it's near the bank, it's going down, and there is current in Lake of the Ozarks, something you don't see very often. Good thing her mic doesn't work on the stream. That's funny, James, but I like it. But Truman Lake is around 23, 24 foot high. They're not running any water. They're supposed to run a few hours of water out this afternoon. I know the Mississippi is supposed to crest sometime today in certain areas. It's extremely unmanageable right now, and the Missouri is also coming up. So, hey, Cliff, how you doing, buddy? Jamie Barsley, how's it going? Anybody that is going to the rivers, the lakes, be extremely careful. This is a really high water situation. It's pretty dangerous, but if you can get out and have some safe fun, it would be awesome. For those of you that didn't see it, Jamie Barsley and two other people sent me a link yesterday, which I'd already seen, of a couple of barges that got loose at a dam on the Arkansas River and sunk. That is exactly how dangerous it is. Not anymore. They just changed the Mississippi forecast. I haven't seen it then, Cliff. I'm not sure where we're going. Michael and Terry Littlejohn, welcome. And Terry Littlejohn, happy birthday. For those of you that don't know Michael and Terry, they are extremely great guides and super nice people on Tawakoni Lake in Texas. And today's Terry's birthday. We want to wish her a very happy birthday. She's such a nice lady. Kenny McClure, how you doing? Cliff Miller says it's going to be higher on the Mississippi. Wow, that just blows. Hey, Stephen, how you doing? Matthew Webb. We was out yesterday afternoon, caught some small fish. The line trash was horrific. There was anything from tires and 5-gallon buckets and trees of all sizes, little, big, in between. Excuse me. You're very welcome, Terry. Anything in between the little and small ones, we seen about everything on the lake yesterday, but we really wanted to get out. Hey, Chrissy Brown, how you doing? But it is dangerous, and regardless of the trash, the big boats was out making waves, dodging everything, and you could hear them whacking stuff as they was going across the lake, and I'm doing great, Kenny. All the stuff that they're doing, they didn't really much slow down. They just kind of run over whatever was in the lake. So one gentleman was at the ramp when we launched our boat. Hey, Lisa Hill. And he had a gigantic boat with a jet on it, and he didn't even unload it. There's so much trash in it. He was afraid that it would suck up in his jet prop, and he didn't want no part of that. 22 foot at Keokuk in a couple of days, not counting rain for next week. Almost every day. Boy, I sure hate to hear that, Cliff, because you and I have been talking in messages, and I know that we're both planning on being at Fishing for Freedom in Quincy, Illinois. There is still time to sign up for you guys that want to go do that. It's a huge, great event. Thousands of people line up the streets in Quincy to support this, and all the surrounding towns. They'll have parades with big motorcycle parades and hot rod cars. going through all the little towns, bringing them back from the various places that they allow them to fish from. And it's just an amazing sight you'll see with everybody standing out on their front porch and waving flags and waving at these people. It's an amazing event, but with the water like it is, Cliff, it looks like I'm going to be headed to the lake, but I'll make that decision once we get there. Tony Myers, Michael, Big Jack grows. More rain in the forecast at least the next 3 days. That's amazing. Hey, Tony. Wanda, how are you doing? I hope you guys are safe from the tornadoes. I seen where you had a little barn damage up there. I hope everything is good. Michelle Phillips. Jamie says, Coach sent me pictures from Greenville, Mississippi of Warfield Point Park. It's underwater. We will be flooded there by Wednesday. Jamie, I'm sorry to hear that. It's kind of going on from everywhere. I know there's some areas that are not affected by all the rain that we had, but nowhere that I ever have been except down south. It's unbelievable. James says he plans on heading over the last day, but if we can get across the river. James, if you're talking about going to Fishing for Freedom Quincy, if you come over for the weigh-in on Sunday and I don't get to see you, I'm going to be extremely disappointed. Kenny says, I'm not even getting hit the water until Monday. It's going to be a madhouse. Yes, sir, it will be. Daniel, can't wait for Texoma. Boy, me either. That's going to be a lot of fun. Russell Michaels, how you doing? Still very confident Pool 19 above Keokuk will be fishable as long as they let us use it. Well, that's another thing, and they'll make a safety decision in a few days, I'm quite sure. Caught a 8 and a 22-pound big fish, done until after the holidays. I can understand that. Yes, sir, Stephen. We all love our military, past, present, and future. They're the best. They always have been, always will be. Well, like I say, one of the main things we wanted to talk about was the water levels and not forget the reason for this holiday. But Cindy actually said something about going to the lake tomorrow, which surprised me because on Memorial Day and Labor Day weekend, we usually do our fishing through the week and let everybody else have the lake so we don't get in that crowd. But you know me, if Cindy says we're going fishing, I have the boat hooked up and we'll be ready to go. Greg Edwards, how you doing? We're doing great, Russell. Just waiting for some good water to fish and a place to go. Bobby Lee, welcome. It's just been amazing with all the rain we had. I have my yard drains extremely well. Been mowing it every 4 to 5 days, and it's so wet I can't even go in the backyard and mow. So if people around, just going to have to deal with it. But that's part of the deal. How's everybody else been doing? John Spataford, Jeremy Gregg. How's everybody doing? Thanks for joining us today. We're talking about Memorial Day weekend, the reason for the holiday, and high water. And I know John fishes the Missouri and the Mississippi rivers a lot, and Jeremy lives over west of me, and they have some bad flooding over there also. Going to Warsaw tonight. Well, good luck, Russell. I haven't been to Warsaw in a while, but like I say, we was on Lake of the Ozarks yesterday on the big end, and the boat traffic's bad, and there is tons and tons of trash in the water. And there was I'll tell you what, there was enough current in Lake of the Ozarks yesterday on the big end. I was on the Niagara River Fork, and I could actually use spot lock and no anchor and stayed right there. A miracle those barges didn't do damage. If you're talking about that bridge, you are completely correct. I know the guy that usually is the one that ends up bringing them up and pulling them out, Harold Dodd. That's kind of what he's been doing forever. And they'll probably call him, and he'll go down there. Doc told me the other day that Harold has access to a huge barge with 3 big diesel engines on it, and they go down there and hook onto that, and he's the guy that pulls them out away from them bridges. So Harold has retired twice that I know of, and every time stuff like this happens, they bring him back. Had to cancel Milford Tourney, moved it to Branch Oak in Lincoln, Nebraska. Is it the same day, or did you change the dates, Jeremy? We'll let everybody know while you're here. Don't forget, everybody, Monday night, Jody and Brandy Atkins going to be on a show. It's going to be a blast. Those two are a hoot, and they catch a ton of big fish. So make sure that Make sure that you tune in Monday night. We're going to be giving away a bunch of stuff, and the following weekend we'll have our show where we do all the show. We show everybody what we feel like are some of the great gifts that you can get somebody for Father's Day. And then after we show them off and explain to them, we're going to give them all away. So everybody that sent stuff to us, and we've got a bunch of stuff. I got a big package from Rig Wrap today. So everybody tune in for those two shows. They'll be really good. Jeremy says he lost his house a couple months ago due to the flooding. Man, I am so sorry to hear that, Jeremy. That's terrible. Prayers go out to you and your family for that. Missouri was good fishing last weekend. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Same day, June 1st, 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. And that is for Jeremy Gregg does a tournament over in Nebraska. So go to his page and check out all that stuff, and you can find out all about it. Don't want to miss that. Well, I hope you don't, because we're going to give away stuff Monday night as we always do. And you need to make sure you go to catfishweekly.com and sign up for your chance at the Rig Wrap prize wheel, and go to our Facebook page, Catfish Weekly, our Facebook, YouTube page, Catfish Weekly, and subscribe. That way, when you tune into the show, you're automatically in the chat, whether you chat or not. Doc will be pulling names up over in Ohio, and we'll give away some stuff in chat. So you want to wicked whiskers, man. I'm struggling today. There you go, Jeremy. I hope you get some people to show up out of that. Anybody got anything? Doc Lang told me yesterday that he fished a tournament last weekend with Trevor Niederhoff, Josh Brown, and he said it was almost as funny to be in the boat with as Stacy Gaston and Joey Kirby. Now, Stacy Gaston and Joey Kirby are hilarious. I know both of those guys really well. So, if Trevor and Josh are that funny, holy crap, what is this catfishing world into? It's a blast. He had a great time. I'm so glad for him. Yes, sir, buddy. Anytime we can help you, be sure just let us know. Don't forget, you guys, if you have tournaments coming up that are not going to be rained out or flooded out, and you want to get the word out, send us a message at Catfish Weekly on Facebook or catfishweekly.com. However you can do it, we'll announce those things during the show. If you have tournament results, we're not going to look for them, but if you get them to us, we will announce those as well. Bradley Young and Junior, how you doing? Junior, we're talking about Memorial Day weekend. Everybody be safe out on the water, and don't forget the reason for the holiday. It's so important that we remember, not only we remember the military people that didn't make it home, but their families as well. It's just this is one of my most important holidays in my mind. It's kind of like fishing for freedom. There's nothing we can do to give back to those folks, but if we can just help them out a little bit, so it makes it all worthwhile. Don't forget, if you are thinking about fishing for freedom and you want to be a boater, they still need guys with boats to make sure all these people are going to go out. We found out, and I knew this and forgot it. Hey, Brad, how you doing? Usually we take one person out in the boat with us, but this year we're going to take two, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Yes, it is, Cliff. You are correct. The levees can't hold that but so long, and some of them are blowing out already. Absolutely, James. That's great advice. If you are on the water, regardless of how high it is and how rough it is, we have a big boat. It's extremely safe. Cindy's become another Doc Lang. She wears her PFD all the time. I'm still a little stubborn about it, but I'm trying to do other things at the same time, but I'm getting better at it. Make sure this weekend and all this high water and flooding and stuff, that if you are on the water, that you wear your life jacket, save yourself. You never know. People can fall in, and try to stay hydrated and not overdo the alcohol thing too much while you're on the water. Josh, how you doing? We are hot and dry in South Carolina. Well, buddy, Stephen, we got enough water over here for your whole state. Already signed up. Thank you, Russell. I appreciate it personally, but so do everybody involved in Quincy. I promise you that. It's just so much fun, and a great group of people put that on. And it's amazing, but not only how Quincy, Illinois gets behind this event, but how the whole surrounding areas, they get donations and stuff to put this on from probably a 50 to 100-mile radius around Quincy. And you're allowed normally to go up several pools and down several pools from the Quincy pool, plus fish Mark Twain Lake, and I'm not sure where all else. But the support from that community for this is really unbelievable. And like I say, if you have a boat and you want to fish and take out a true American hero, they are still letting you sign up because we still need boaters. Corey says he hopes the weather holds. Me too. It's going to be beautiful here the next few days, but the damage has already been done. But I know other places, and I seen some forecasts a while ago, we're kind of in the middle, and below north and south of us still have tornado watches and huge thunderstorms and great amounts of rain coming. And I can live without it. Thank you, Big Jack Gross. Thank you so much for signing up for that. Means the world, not only to me, but everybody involved with this. And you will be very happy that you've done this. And once you go to Quincy and do this, you'll go every year. Bass fishing and taking two warriors. Thank you, Corey. We appreciate it so much. You'll have a blast. I assume you're going to Mark Twain. I haven't been on Mark Twain in a few years, so I'm going to have to get up there a day or two early, go look around if we end up going there. I really like fishing the river, but I won't take two guys out on the water that's not familiar with the river unless it is extremely safe. And the lake is pretty well controlled, so you won't have to look at it. Just looked, and they are saying rain for the next 5 days for you. James, I'm so sorry to hear that, but if it has to be one of us, I'd rather it be you than me. Just had a tornado a couple hours ago within 5 miles of my house. You guys be careful up there, Cliff. They're everywhere. Usually southwest Missouri, where I live, and Oklahoma and Texas, parts of Texas, are just ridden with tornadoes throughout the spring and summer. But Jeff City, they got hit extremely hard up there. St. Louis, they're just everywhere this year. So it's just a strange year for weather patterns. But you be careful when them sirens go. The other day, the sirens was going off while we done the Catfish Weekly show, if you guys remember watching it. And Wanda and her husband, they got hit. They moved their barn over, if I remember from the post she made, about a foot. That's pretty devastating right there. I'm glad they didn't get any worse damage. My understanding was it didn't hurt their house and they was safe. And she is in here today, so that's amazing. But to move a barn over a foot, that's a pretty hard hit. Yes, Corey, we will be going live from Fishing for Freedom Saturday afternoon is the plan. We'll probably be in the Oakley Lindsay Center, where it's nice and cool. And we usually have a bunch of the people that are involved with putting on Fishing for Freedom. We're going to try to do some of that this year, but I would like to get a bunch of the warriors involved and some of the boaters. It's really hard to stay in there for extended periods of time and do a show. And the reason it's so hard is because they are setting up for the banquet and doing so much. 12 feet, Wanda said. Wow, that's a huge deal. But, it's hard to do interviews in there with all the noise and the background noise. But we want to visit with some of these guys that are in the military. We want to visit with some of the boaters and things. So instead of being a 30-minute show or something like that, we're going to try to go a little longer and maybe do 2 sets of it, something like that. We'll see how that works out. They have a great internet connection, or did last year. So we shouldn't have any trouble broadcasting out there, and we'll have a great time. But maybe we can get out. One of the things that people forget about, when guys go to ball games and sports events, they talk about tailgate parties. Well, in these motels, it's the whole parking lot's kind of a tailgate party at Fishing for Freedom. I don't stay up as late and do as much of that as I used to, but that would be a great time to be live out there with some of them guys. They might get a little wild, but you know what? They've earned it. So I'd be happy to do that too if we can make that happen. But all that does vary and depend on internet connection and phone service things like that. So we'll check that out. Cliff, I think that'd be a great deal for Corey and you and me and a bunch of the guys involved. We could get out there and do a little live set from one of the motels, or maybe more than one of them. I don't even know where I'm staying this year. I don't do any of that. Cindy makes all of our reservations for motels wherever we go. And Mindy has been so good the last several years. She always has me set up. You know what, Corey? We'll take you. You coming up to Fishing for Freedom, we'll take a bass fisherman and interview him too. By the time we get done, we'll make a cat guy out of you. How's that sound? Tell you from going last year, just watching the smiles on the vets' fish as they weigh in is going to be worth going over. You are correct, James. My favorite story, and like I say, I believe this is our 8th year. I may be wrong about that. He's 7th or 8th. But we took a major out and never been in a boat, never been fishing. And he caught a huge trash fish. And he caught we let him catch every fish we caught that day. And he had a wonderful time, and we had a great time with him. It was wonderful to take him out. And I believe he told me he had never been in a boat, never been fishing. And he caught fish pretty much all day. They wasn't all giants, but we did have a blast. He'd never seen Asian carp jumping. He got to see all that. So it was a lot of fun. It's an experience that you'll remember. I got memories from every one of those. Welcome, Brad and Mikey. How you guys doing? I am there. Just message me for a time. This will be my 6th year. Thank you so much, Corey. And I will, if I do get to do that, I'll probably just make a post and say, hey, we're going to be here and here at this time, and go from there. Mike Salazar, how you doing? From a deployed vet, best of luck. Thank you, Brad, and thank you for your service. We appreciate it. Bill, Catfish Bill 66 has joined Live with Lyle. How you doing, my friend? Some great fish you've been catching up there. Been enjoying the videos, too. They're awesome. If you guys get a chance, go to YouTube, check out Catfish Bill 66. He's got some awesome videos. He's been doing some fishing and putting fish in a boat. He got to fish a tournament with a couple of guys the other day, and it was a hoot. Did a great job with that. So check him out. Well, we're running on about 30 minutes or close to it. I want everybody to be safe this weekend. Have a lot of fun. Be careful on the water and in your travels wherever you're going. Frank McKinney, John Spear, welcome. But please bear in mind the reason for this holiday. Our military personnel, past and present, are so important to us, and we want to remember the ones that didn't make it home. For Lyle Stokes, thank you guys for tuning in this afternoon. Have a great holiday, and we'll see you Monday night on Catfish Weekly with Brandy and, I forgot their name. Jody and Brandy Atkins. Thank you guys for watching. See you Monday night.